Before I officially start my speech, I'd just like to say, I have abided by the HFA Honor Code in convening this assignment. When I first found out that I would be giving the valedictory speech at graduation, I was honored. But I soon realized that I had no idea of how to proceed. What could I say that would not sound cliched, trite, sappy? What could I say that would actually be meaningful and significant? What could I say that had not been said before? Well, the answer to that last question is, of course, nothing. Men and women far smarter and cleverer than I have given innumerable speeches in the past, and I am not so arrogant to believe that I could somehow think of something that they, in their wisdom, missed. But I could at least try to figure out what my peers and mentors would want me to say. So I asked around. Some of you were very helpful, some not so much. I received all sorts of advice, from talk about how awesome we are, to talk about how awesome you are. From make us laugh, to make us cry. From keep it short and sweet, to say whatever you want to say for as long as you want. That last piece of advice was especially helpful. Well, I can't promise that the speech will be short. I am naturally rather long-winded, but I will try to be as concise as possible. Now, I'd like to ask you one simple question. What do you believe? I ask you this, firstly, because as we go through life, as we traverse its highs and lows, we must have some sort of compass to guide us. It is imperative that we have a moral foundation on which we can base our actions, as it is our actions that most effectively reveal who we really are. We've all heard it said, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade, meaning, of course, that you should make the best of a bad situation. But we all know this already. What truly defines us is what we do with the lemonade afterwards. Do you drink it yourself? Do you sell it for profit? As Robin said. Or do you give it to those who were not fortunate enough to receive even the lemons in the first place? Your choice, and there is no wrong choice, reflects your beliefs and assumptions about the world. And so, before we have to make the difficult decisions in life, we must strive to understand what our beliefs and assumptions actually are. Yet I also ask you this question, because only by answering it can you answer this next question, far more profound and important than the last. Why do you believe this? Why do you believe what you believe? Asking this is crucial. When you question the reason behind your beliefs, you open your mind to the possibility of your own error, the possibility that perhaps, just perhaps, you are not always right. You may, in fact, in many cases you should, stick to your core principles, but you ought never to allow your core principles to go unquestioned or unexamined. In divisive political or moral debates, we cannot allow our emotions and unspoken prejudices to set the terms of debate and make coming to a consensus or an amicable resolution impossible. And when we choose to pass moral judgment on someone else, for whatever reason, we must always be sure that this judgment is not the result of stereotypes or a lack of empathy. We must learn to separate our initial perception of others from our opinion of their worth. Why do we need to be so careful? Because petty disagreements and superficial conflicts are merely distractions from what really matters. We have too many problems, the economy, climate change, class inequity, and so on, to spend time on these petty squabbles. Our country and the world demand better of us, and we should demand better of ourselves. We must strive to form not just a more perfect union, but a more perfect civilization. Not just a better America, but a better world. And doing so requires that we abandon our self-righteousness and the unconscious prejudices that engender such senseless discord, preventing us from addressing head-on the real problems in our society. Only by keeping an open mind and an empathetic, selfless attitude can we best work toward the betterment of society as a whole. Seniors, class of 2011. Very soon we will be graduates, and this is almost certainly the last time we will all be together as a class. And so, as we reflect on the past 4 years we've spent together, I'd like to make sure that we look at the future as well as the past, at what our parents and teachers would expect of us, as well as what they have already taught us. So, when we go out into the world on our separate paths, after we receive our diplomas and say goodbye to each other one last time, wherever we choose to go, whatever we choose to do, we must remember the lessons that we have learned at Hume-Fogg, both in the classroom and out of the classroom, the value of pi, as well as the value of community. We must remember to question our own ideas and assumptions and prejudices, to fight for our beliefs while treating them with the same skepticism with which we treat those of others. We must remember that there will always be those who agree and those who disagree, and that for a functioning civil society, we must work with both. This is our duty to the community which has surrounded us for these 4 years, to the teachers who have taught us, and to the parents who have raised us, and ultimately, it is our duty to ourselves. For, while all of us may differ on specific issues, or even on our core beliefs and assumptions, we are all part of the global community and the human family, and we all need to work for the betterment, not just of ourselves, not just of our local community, not even just of our nation, but of all humanity. Thank you. Congratulations.